Welcome to Pakistan Pavilion, the lunch event with the topic of Digital Pakistan. Before I start and give the introduction of all the speakers here, let me first call upon Mr. Urs Lustenberger to give a welcome note to all the speakers and the audiences.
Thank you. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, friends of the Chamber, friends of Pakistan, it's my pleasure and my honor to welcome you all to today's event about Pakistan. I have been one of the avid followers of Mr. Ikram Sehgal, who is behind the Pathfinder group and who has shown us and told us his efforts and his ventures into the digital world. And I have been amazed when I saw one of the last times how they were trying to hook up new clients to their digital banking system. And I have been amazed to see today that now it's almost impossible to keep track of the number. Then they were still counting in the hundreds. Now they're counting in millions. So the thing is a big. I have had the pleasure this afternoon to meet a lady from Africa who is highly interested in what you do in Egypt and in Morocco. And I will make sure that you hook up with her so that you can expand into their market as well. Because their market is now being used for people who have smartphones only, and the traction is way too small because most of the people still have these smaller phones. So I think you will be the right guys to show them the way. Without further ado, I would like to thank all of you for your interest, and I would like to offer to Ikram, because for the first time I've heard this morning that he's open for investment. I would like to offer to Ikram that we as a chamber will be more than willing to help him find investors in this part of the world.
Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon, and I begin by thanking Mr. Ikram Sehgal and Pathfinders for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. So very pleased that the CEO of Jazz is here, Chairman of PASHA. We have the General Manager from USC, Mr. Tariq Malik, formerly from Nadra, now in the World Bank. We had our Board of Investment established in early 1990s, but we realized that the complexities of navigating the system were a hurdle to many investors. And the need to have one interface, single interface, with high-powered presence was felt necessary. So here we have established in the Prime Minister's office in Islamabad a team which is a dedicated team. It has a presence from all the ministries, the provinces, and they are physically present there to work as a collaborative team to support the investors and businesses. We also have inducted the support from other organizations in Pakistan, in particular the Pakistan Army, which has outreach throughout the country, and especially because they can also ensure security and access to many regions where the mineral resources, for instance, are available or other energy-related projects are to be done. And that is a huge resource also available to us. This Facilitation Council is led by the Prime Minister of Pakistan. It has the Provincial Chief Ministers, has the Federal Ministers, presence from the Army, Civil Service. And together, this whole of government approach is helping businesses sort out their issues in Pakistan, improving the investment climate, facilitating investors, and working together with the private sector. So in the last 7 or 8 months that we have been in business, we've had some remarkable achievements, and that has given us more encouragement and hope that this model is well functioning and it will carry forward in the times to come to give opportunities and strength to the investors. The most remarkable is the information technology and telecom, and you've got very eminent speakers here who would be talking about it. And in the morning session also, there were discussions on how Pakistan is transforming through digital technology, financial inclusion, the ability to reach households, and in particularly those who are in distant localities, women in particular who were not part of the mainstream financial activities. The National Database Registration Authority has a long history. Pakistan started our national identity cards somewhere in 1970s, which is very remarkable. At that time, not many countries would have national ID cards. And since they've been now digitized, so there's a very large digital database. In the morning, you also heard about the database of the Benazir Income Support Program. It's one of the largest financial inclusion program where vulnerable people, and all of them are women, are provided direct cash transfers to support their income, and also in some cases for as encouragement for increasing educational and health outcomes. So they are conditional transfers. These two very large data sets are then complemented by some very other big data sets which exist in the country. That Pakistan is a young country. Almost 70% people are youthful, young, energetic, they're creative, and they have a unique problem-solving approach. And this problem-solving approach leads to innovation, new kinds of service delivery, and finding solutions. Of course, you know that we have a large population, 240 million people. So there would be a great market to work in which services have to be delivered, private services as well as public services. This large population, there's a great appetite for information. So this is a good time to be in Pakistan. Of course, I can imagine that companies who are already there can testify to this. We did have some difficult period in recent times. Our reserves were down, and we had to impose some temporary restrictions. But we are now on a good path. We are in a fund program. We have financial discipline. In the coming few years, we have a plan through which this reserve would be built up, and IT is going to be one of the forerunners for exports as well, because this has a quick turnaround time. Manufacturing takes time to deliver new products. It's not easy, but our young people are already earning dollars for the country, bringing back money, and we have liberalized the regime. It was difficult to bring back the money in the sense that they could not retain their earnings overseas. So from the SIFC platform, we have been able to bring this very, I would say, formidable reform, because the central bank was very keen that the money comes back to Pakistan because they want to build the reserves. But we were able to convince them to allow the IT professionals to keep their money overseas, to use it for after-sales services and other needs. And that has improved the remittances to the country. So we foresee more of that. The government welcomes everybody who wishes to come and participate in Pakistan's economy. Once again, I'd like to thank the organizers, Pathfinder, 2 decades of sustained hard work. I'm sure it's done a lot of benefit to the country. I'd like to thank the ambassadors, Ambassador Aamir our ambassador to Switzerland, for his leadership. and commitment to this extremely important work. We have Ambassador Sheikh Rizwan with us from the ministry. Um, all the participants, like to recognize Dr. Amjad Saqib. I have the honor of working with him on boards and in various capacities. I think all of us are very happy to be here, very encouraged by the response that we got, and looking forward to seeing you in Pakistan. Thank you.
That's the story of Pakistan, and that's the story of Nadra. So I had 2 stints in Nadra. In the first stint, my challenge was to get towards universal coverage, count everybody, bring them on board. But once I did that, I said, okay, now everybody has an ID card. What's the next stage? And the next stage was to use that instrument, identity instrument, to build the trust today here. So an ID card is not a piece of plastic or chip or a document. It is a social contract between citizen and state. And so the offshoots or the linkages that it creates with social inclusion program, social protection program, myriad of applications like Asan mobile application, actually strengthen social contract. I tell this to all the countries. There are 2 parts of digital. One is digitization, archiving of old record. Don't discard it. Don't start afresh. And the second part is digitalization. Digitalization is automation of the procedure. We use technology solutions and develop an infrastructure, which we call now DPI, Digital Public Infrastructure. And we registered 190 million people out of 230 million people. This is an old figure. I left Nadra 7 months ago, so it has touched now 190. And we created a government tech stack that, okay, we have a stack of identities, but how that database will strengthen the social contract. So disaster relief system, floods of 2010 and 11 and 20, 14 also, earthquake, and I think 2 years back also. So we had handled effectively. And when we say Pakistan is here to stay, and it is staying, and it is still there, is because of these systems that we reached out to those communities which were affected, and state was there, and the rate of the state was strengthened. We used it to find out the richest of the rich who didn't pay the taxes, 3.5 million. And so we have reformed our taxation system. We have effectively managed our border. We have e-passport, we have Sehat Sahulat program, we have rolled out online visa. Our e-KY system is exemplary for a lot of underdeveloped countries. And we have refugee and foreigner management system. We have rolled out succession certificate application where property is automatically distributed based on the family tree. So there are 2 types of system that can create digital transformation, and both have to work hand in hand. One is the foundational system, which is civil registration and vital statistics system, national digital ID, and census system. We have this time done digital census. So our foundation is very strong. Based on that, you can roll out digital public goods. So this is the model that every country is striving now. And, They need Nadra-like authorities, and I have created in 5 different regions in these authorities with this simple concept. So I showed you 10, 12 projects, but there are more than 100 projects that we have done, national and international projects that Nadra is doing. We are doing some South-South cooperation also, and uh, we have uh, national projects. You can read out and you can log on and see it on Nadra website. But I want to make it a case that why Nadra should be supported and the funds should be given to that organization is that we can speed up the digital transformation drive of the whole world. How? We have helped Kenya to come up with the machine readable passport, Somalia national identification system, Sudan civil registration system, Nigeria identity management system, Fiji elections management system, and believe you me, European Union readmission case management system. There are 30 some 34 European countries who are using our readmission case management system, and so on and so forth. Very quickly, couple of projects which are our signature projects that we have done in last 2 years. In last 2 years, I have done 45 projects. I can't leave without talking to Assam Mobile. 10 million accounts have opened, and it has a centralized wallet management system and withdrawal through wallet. We talked in the morning that what were the challenges. This was the key challenge, that how to digitize the KYC part. There are lots of projects that we have done, which you can see on the Nadra's web site, which has made the life of a common citizen easier. And this experience has been now transported to and replicated to various countries. So this is the story of Pakistan. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ikram Sehgal Sahab, Chairman Pathfinder Group, Excellencies, uh, Jehanzeb Sahab, AI of Jazz, Mr. Aamir Ibrahim, and all the guests, Assalamu alaikum. I just want to start with like what PASHA is and what's the landscape of information technology sector in Pakistan and what's the current status. So PASHA is the only national software IT association registered under the Ministry of Commerce, have the um, policy and vision of having the vocal and the demand from the IT sector of Pakistan. It's witnessing an amazing growth for past 4 5 months, and Alhamdulillah, this month it's 17% growth witness of IT export of Pakistan. Third, which is the main important topic which I want to address, is the skill side gold mine of Pakistan. That's the youth population of more than 65%, where as in Pakistan there are multiple export-oriented sector, but IT is the only sector which is trade surplus, and our raw material is our people, the youth population, and the people we are doing it next. As I mentioned, that Pakistan is the third largest English-speaking country, ideally for the global IT tech hub in Pakistan. And what we are doing right now in terms of there are many, more than 50,000 IT graduates are uh, graduating from Pakistan. What Pasha and our collaboration with the Ministry of IT role is doing a lot of boot camps in terms of whatever the international market required, the skill set in the artificial intelligence or cyber security, data sciences, ML. That's what we are preparing right now. And a lot of companies already involved having this in the region system. In last 5 years, we have more than 178% growth in our IT export. This is also and witnessing in the region where the Pakistan is having a great opportunity and booming in the technology sector. This is the area, as I mentioned, that where the Pakistani companies are already evolving in the area of artificial intelligence, cloud computing, e-commerce, robotics, big data, and AI. And there is an investment opportunity to having the train our people, having the opportunity to have the regional back offices set up and resources augmentation there the Pakistan is doing. I just want to share some of the success stories that currently Pakistani companies are providing services to companies like BMW, GE, Nestle, Google, and so on. That's a witnesses the type of skill set, the commitment, and the services, the level of delivery we are doing it from Pakistan through their back offices, their on-site, and covering to the more than 120 countries by from Pakistan. The reason is there's a strategic location providing services from Australia to California. The time difference is very at the strategic location, and the people are energetic in terms of the technical and skill set. Leading global VCs investing in Pakistan, including Visa, First Bond, Barclays, GFC, and so on. In last couple of months, there are many success stories. The large VCs invested in Pakistan in many verticals in the fintech, in the blockchain, and many other startups and the IT companies. As I mentioned, Pakistan IT industry is ready and fully capable for enabling high tech needs in the world, which we are capable to do that. This I want to highlight that as a success story that Pakistani companies already delivered the national payment gateway of Middle East, covering 80% market share as a technology in African stock exchange market, and doing a lot of wonders as of today and inshallah in the future. Be it there, these are the areas of the investment, especially in the product development. I know in the Europe, a lot of investment in the startup, the new ideas. Companies are getting good investment. They need a team, on-site remote team where the Pakistan can be the strategic location in the product development, in the tech side, and the skill set. If you and your group or anyone have opportunity in any vertical, we can, as a PASHA and from the Ministry of IT and other stakeholders can provide this resources for the skill set and the investment where you can, place your funding and get these resources over there. Thanks. As I mentioned, we are partner with the organization related to the information technology, SIFC, Ministry of IT and Telecom, PACB, MUFA, and so on. I just, at the last, I would like to invite you all to have and visit Pakistan. And we have the two dates available in April 2024 and August 2024, the biggest IT show in Pakistan. And Pasha and our organization and the group would love to host you there. So thank you very much. I am here to discuss anything related to that. Thank you.
I wanted to talk about in the morning. For a while, I was a little bit upset that SDGs did not have a goal that there should be broadband for everybody, but it was encouraging to see Tariq's presentation that 7 out of those, I think it's total 17 goals or 16, yeah, are actually enabled by telecommunications. Providing a robust infrastructure is imperative. They will help you with gender, they will help you with poverty alleviation, they will help you with every single thing that we want to achieve as the world overall. So it is really important to recognize that telecom is no longer a sector, but a cross-sector enabler. And why do I say that? Because we're sitting here right next to the government, and the need for better understanding what the capabilities of this sector are is extremely important. Gone are the days when we would only look at it as a value capture. And by all means, government and telecom is, of course, an extremely regulated environment. Every country has a right to tax its people, its industries, its successes. But I think we now need to get into a different kind of a dialogue where we talk about how the country benefits in the longer term rather than capturing things in the short term. So what we should do is we should tax success not tax hope. The models of auctions, unfortunately, haven't succeeded in Pakistan, and there is now growing awareness and criticism of those around the world also. Companies have spent billions of dollars in spectrum acquisition, but have failed to equip or roll out the network that was needed. Consequently, even in the case of Pakistan, we have more than about 15% of our population which is not covered by any kind of a signal. So we owe something to the firstly, we owe something to those 40 odd million people of Pakistan where there is no kind of a signal before we start talking about 5G and 6G. And I will spend a little bit more time on 5G also. What the customer needs is internet. These things are sold predominantly by technology companies, whether it's 4, 5, or 6. Customers are not interested in features, they're interested in benefits. And like I highlighted, the first benefit they want is that they want to have internet. They want to have internet which works, internet which is affordable, internet which is fast. And we as a country need to ensure that our policies and the responsibilities that I have as a chief executive of the largest internet services provider in Pakistan, I want to make sure that no citizen is left behind. We can certainly, as every technology company, we will invest in innovation. We will look at the best practices for around the world, but we don't want to be guilty of an elite capture where we provide a technology which is relevant only for 1% of the population, and we ignore the 50% of population which still does not have a smartphone. So there's a need for a lot of work over there. As they keep on saying, there is no cyber without fiber. We need to ensure that every household in Pakistan is equipped with broadband, that we can put a smartphone in every hand, and we work with policies that ensure that there is smartphone availability. And it's very encouraging to see that in the last few years, there are about 27 companies in Pakistan that are now assembling phones in Pakistan. And it's only a matter of time where the deletion kicks in and we can provide the same kind of opportunities in smartphone manufacturing as we have in other industries. I'd like to now pivot more towards financial services inclusion. I think the next big opportunity in Pakistan is making sure that we can equip retailers, individuals with access to banking. We want to make sure that it's not just for consumers, but also for one of the biggest ignored segments, which is the small, micro, medium enterprises. They just do not have any access to funds, any formal access to funds. We have a responsibility to make sure that a small company can grow into a medium-sized one and a medium-sized one into a larger one. Right now, there are very few opportunities where a shopkeeper can get a loan of even $2,000 and open another shop. Jazz Cash and Mobilink Bank are providing those loans. And while we are excited about, as a country, corporate banking and high-level consumer banking, and then going down all the way down to BNPL, which is buy now, pay later, I think we keep on missing the middle class. And that's where the small, medium enterprises are. So we owe ourselves and our countrymen and women the right to have access to cheap, affordable funds. And that's an area of huge opportunity for us. I'd like to conclude that, there are opportunities, but after 75 years, I think it's time that we stop talking about the mountains. We stop talking about the geography. We stop talking about the history. We have to be focused, looking at the future. We are making progress. There was a question asked this morning, is State Bank a facilitator or are they a roadblock? Are we making progress? We are making progress. Everybody's very intentional about making progress. But are we where we need to be? We're certainly better than where we were 2 years ago, but we are not where we need to be. And a mind shift is required. A mind shift change is required. And I hope that colleagues and people that we're interacting with, they're here at Davos, spending their time, their energies, and their resources. A long-time investor in Pakistan, having invested more than $10 billion in the country, we would be your biggest visiting card when it comes to SAFC. When we have to attract more people in, they're going to talk about how have the previous investors been rewarded. Our success story is obviously going to be one of the biggest visiting cards for future investors to come and invest in Pakistan. Thank you very much.
Let me share an interesting story of state-owned enterprise, how the digital transformation has transformed the company from losses to profit-making organization. This is the story of Utility Stores Corporation, which was established 53 years ago only with 15 outlets across the country with an objective to provide economic relief to the citizen of Pakistan by selling the essential commodities on the prices lower than those prevailing in the open market. And the second objective was to act as a price moderator in the market. So passing through different phases of expansion, today Utility Stores is operating more than 4,000 stores across the country, making it the largest retail chain of grocery stores in the country. There were huge challenges for this digital transformations. Like a company, running such large scale of operations, 4,000 stores across the country, no IT infrastructure is in place. There were no point of sale or related equipments available on stores to make the digital transactions, no connectivity between the stores, no data centers available. We were lacking the skilled human resources who can be able to operate the point of sale machines even if they were installed on the stores. So, and then above all, the resistance to change was again a big problem which is always there with every digitalization. So a major project was basically initiated. So this project was the digitalization of utility stores to automate all its business process and retail operations. Today, I proudly can say that Utility Store is the only organization in Pakistan which has all its business processes and retail operations are performed digitally on a digital platform. Now, every store, every store and every warehouse is connected with the central ERP systems, enabling utility stores to have inventory information available right wherever it is required. So what the company is doing to making the right product available at the right time for the right people. So this was a very key for the success of the supply chain of organization. We have connected all of our suppliers with the system. So every supplier now have access to the inventory levels, available on utility store shelves. So this helps them to manage their supply chain effectively. So whenever we require, we get the products right on time. Complete company financials, accounts payable, accounts receivable, human capital management, every aspect of the business is now automated, and it is is operated through the ERP system. Utility stores is also linked with the NADRA and with the BISP to provide subsidy to the targeted individuals after getting them verified from the NADRA and the BISP database in the real time. The transactions, just take 1 or 2 seconds to verify the individuals, and the government provided subsidy is transferred to the right individuals. So now moving forward, so there are a number of different initiatives we are working on. One of the important initiative is we are now enabling the digital payments on utility stores point of sales. So for which the most importantly, what we are doing is we are working with the VRG. We have already integrated the VRG platform with the utility store point of sale systems. So basically these 10 million subscribers, these are our customers. This digital payments enablement will enable those individuals to make the cashless transactions on utility stores in the near days to come. There are a number of other initiatives, like we are starting the e-commerce, which will also enable now, since we have now the platform, the digital platform, which is capable of serving the people of the country. So we are starting different initiatives. Like we are starting the e-commerce, so the people would be able to buy the groceries online, and again, with the help of this digital payments enablement, they don't have to come to the stores. Uh, all the transactions will be done automatically through the digital payments, and the groceries would be delivered to the customers on their doorsteps.
So, what has been said past 2 days about our mobile account, and health tech is also one vertical that we work on. Before starting, I actually want to discuss about the emerging trends at Davos every year as far as technology is concerned. When I came here first in 2018, it was all about cryptocurrency. In 2019, we were doing blockchain, cryptocurrency again. Roundabout in 2020, it was machine learning and AI. 2021 was all about NFT. 22 wasn't. And it turns out in September, we found out that 95% of all the NFC is actually worthless now. This year is all about generative AI. And so what happens as far as technology is, technology actually follows a hype cycle like a contrary wave. You basically have a technology trigger, then you have a peak of inflated expectations. However, when we look at events such as here in Davos, we only talk about emerging technologies, but we need to find use cases for real use cases of technology. And this does not have to be something emerging or something with a lot of bells and whistles, but it could be something very simple and very essential. And that is something that I actually want to leave you today with the concept and the idea and the product that we've built. We built the My Mediport platform. It's a first step towards building Pakistan's national electronic health record platform. The vision and the idea behind My Mediport is that every Pakistani with a CNIC should be able to walk into any hospital and give their CNIC to any doctor, and that doctor would be able to retrieve all their medical records right there in front of their screen and diagnose them and take a better decision. We've seen this trend starting in a lot of other countries. Australia has My Health Records. Switzerland's actually building their own platform. EUID wallet is something which is being implemented in the European Union. You have Turkey with eNavs. In the UAE, you have Rayati and Malafi. And I think this is about time we actually look at something in data interoperability in Pakistan. Now, let's look at the challenges in data interoperability. 80% of all cases of malpractice actually happen because there is during care transaction because data is not available from one practitioner to another. 3 out of 10 individuals, only 3 out of 10 individuals basically have access to the lab results. 3 out of 4 lab tests are reordered, which means 3 out of 10 lab tests are reordered, which basically is a huge cost to the person, to the insurance provider, and so on and so forth. 1 in 4 patients basically have to reiterate the medical history all over again because one doctor does not share information with them. Now, when we're discussing these problems, we're not discussing these problems in Pakistan. We're actually discussing these problems for North American market. And this is why we actually built the My Mediport platform. What My Mediport actually offers is it's a integrated healthcare information system with augmented intelligence. And it is HIPAA compliant since we operate in the US. It's high trust, SOC 2, with PCI SLC, PCI level 1 compliance in this platform. So security and a lot of bells and whistles as far as compliance is concerned goes over here. But it basically solves the problem. It's a multi-pronged solution. So it basically solves the problem for both the patient and the provider. Patient basically gets access to all their information in one place. You go to, let's say, Ziauddin or Raha Khan or Liaquat National, if you discuss in the Pakistani context, you will be able to see one complete health record. You don't have to browse through 5-6 different health records. And this also leads to a lot of other challenges. When we do lab tests, we only know the results of the current lab test, but we don't have any historical data trending of how this is leading up to. For the providers, how we solve this problem is providers basically get access to a portal that we offer, and we actually go into large healthcare networks outside the country where we actually ask them to ingest all the data into our system. And because a lot of these large hospital networks actually operate in different specialties. One could have a dialysis center, the other could be a GP practice, and so on and so forth. And they're basically connected with different software. Now, even talking about different healthcare interoperability standards, there are so many of them that interoperability actually becomes a challenge. So you had the FHIR standard, but FHIR still currently has 5 standards. When you have HL7, HL7 has a lot of variations. But what we actually build is something which is an any to any. So you can bring in data into our federated data model, process it, build it in, bring it into the data lake, and take it out the way you want to. And this is exactly what we offer our healthcare partners as well. So we are currently connected with over 61,000 healthcare touchpoints in the US, and the best thing is we work with all 8 top EHRs in the North American market. Some of them also operate in the Middle East and Pakistan. Now, where is this all leading up to? The best thing is that the patients basically have access to their information. Providers have access to their information. However, this is if you look at it in the Pakistani concept, this is not a challenge as in a technical challenge, but it is more of a bureaucratic red tape challenge, because everyone is extremely possessive about their data. You take their data, and you need to make data about that data. So you need to understand what that data is all about, so that you can actually apply augmented machine learning, AI, all the gizmos and buzzwords we can use, and then infer something out of it, get those results, and actually, if you have a national electronic health record platform, it will actually help in a lot of research, clinical trials, drug trials, pandemic, epidemics. So with Pakistan, where we only talk about, setting up a hospital, setting up a clinic, education scholarships, data is also extremely important. Like Aamir also mentioned, that we need to churn all this data and make it worthwhile. So we're looking for partners in Pakistan, how we can bring this forward. We can implement it as a white label within the healthcare network, and slowly and gradually we can actually get more partners to collaborate and create those strong bonds to actually make it as a national.
I must say that we really heard very extensive, detailed, subject-wise, absolute knowledge about the digital landscape in Pakistan, and in different categories. And I'm thankful to each one of you, starting with Dr. Jehanzeb, Planning Commission, and of course SIFC. And the only thing that I would request you is that please do not keep SIFC only to foreign investment. A lot of people have invested a lot of money inside, and they have the same bureaucratic problems. That it's just that I'm not be a resident of Dubai, so I can't do that. Right? So we must take in investment as a whole, right? And I then come to Dr. Tariq, Malik. I'm very grateful to you. You have come all the way, and in my mind, there's no doubt of what you have done for Pakistan. And you've changed the total this thing, etc. Without an identity program, I don't know where we would be. Right? And the rest of it, of course, is part of it. Right? Really something. Then, of course, talk to Zohaib PASHA, really, of PASHA. Zohaib, it's very good of you to be part of this, and we discovered you a little late, but we should have discovered you much earlier, actually. And and you've done a lot for the industry. And I take your point that maybe some support can be given, right, to us. Shakeel Saab, of course, there's no doubt that you've changed that. Usually stores of corporation was a black hole. You could throw money down that hole. Now we know actually what's happening. And in the context of what we are going with Dr. Amjad Saqib, with Jazz, etc., it becomes very important for us. And I would certainly like to explore this further. We've already integrated with you. We'd like to explore this further. Because at the end of the day, you have, you want to get the BISP program money is supposed to put food on the table. Food on the table. And first of all, the money has to reach the right person. And that person then has to spend that money on food, not on her husband's drugs and drinks or the son, this thing, etc. So that is part of the process we will undertake. I'm very glad two ambassadors are here. I have no doubt in my mind that Ambassador Rizwan Sheikh, the way he kept advising us, and he keeps on saying, when I get a little upset that I'm a diplomat, and I believe that this thing because he really has advised us very correctly what we have to do and where we have to go. And it's our good luck that he is placed not only in an area which investment can come from, but also in the SIFC, the representative of MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And of course, I must thank Ambassador Aamir, because the moment I reached out to him, his response was immediate. Within minutes, I started getting, the responses to the requests I made. And it showed exactly because I've never really dealt with the Pakistan Embassy in Bern too much, but mostly dealing all through these 30 years with the Pakistan Embassy in Geneva, United Nations, and of course, one after the other, the ambassadors were fantastic and the people were fantastic. Without any hitch, the responses are very good, always. Having said that, we now come to the end of the Pathfinder Groups Association here for this Davos. I must thank my family. My son is inside the Congress Center. Shanaz and Haya, my daughters, and my sister-in-laws are here. I must thank them for the support they've given. And I must thank my staff. There are no words to describe them. They were just fantastic. They were just fantastic. They worked. They were not even, at times, not even that thing. They just took the leash off and went at it. At the end of the day, our job is one. Our job is to promote Pakistan. I tell you, I don't care. Sorry for using the word damn, but I say I don't care who is, which political party is in power. He come to Pakistan, he represents Pakistan. And that is the person that we promote.